18 and 1900s, farming served as the only source of income and survival for their families. Now, currently, the U.S. Department of Agriculture estimates there are roughly 40,000 black farmers in America, but they own less than 1% of our nation's farmland. White farmers own roughly 95%. As we honor Black History this month, News 13 anchor Annette Pegler introduces us to Reverend Jermaine Walker. At one point, Walker was in jeopardy of losing his farm to foreclosure, but was helped through the National Black Farmers Association and the USDA. He was recently named Black Farmer of the Year. Annette?
Patsy, Pinewood native Jermaine Walker learned how to farm before the age of 10. He inherited the land from his father in 1994.
Grew up on the farm. Yeah, parents were farmers, their parents were farmers, and I'm sure the parents before them were farmers, but we know for sure third generation farmers right here on this very property.
The youngest of 8 children, Jermaine Walker took us on a tour of his family's farm.
Most of the backbone of America was built off of agriculture. And in the South, it remained that way.
As we walk the land, you can tell he takes great pride in what his family has built.
This poultry farm is owned by 2 of my cousins, Lewis and Jesse Walker. Jesse has passed, but Lewis is still currently farming. They ran it many years, and to my knowledge, they were some of the first minority farmers, black poultry farmers in here.
In years past, the Walker family farm, which consisted of 72 acres of land in Sumter County, South Carolina, was booming.
Along with home ownership, land ownership is paramount here in America, as far as having, building wealth and transferring that wealth from generation to generation.
It helped generations of his family survive.
People depended on a family garden. They depended on raising a hog, not only for food, but for sale, a few cows to supplement the income.
But over the years, as the economy fluctuated, the farm that was once his family's legacy faced foreclosure.
I was about to lose it. There were buyers. The bank had buyers lined up for it. They were out here looking. There was a closing date that we can sell now. Even when I sold, I was going to end up owing the bank a huge amount of money.
Walker tapped into his network, including the National Black Farmers Association.
He founded the organization in the mid-'80s to help eradicate discrimination for black farmers who were struggling to get loans from the United States Department of Agriculture.
John Boyd is the president of the organization and a 4th-generation Virginia farmer. He says traditionally, blacks have been systematically left out of programs that enable farmers to acquire land and build wealth. He says they've also been denied debt relief that was contractually promised, stemming from previous lawsuits.
In this case, they promised $5 billion. We have it in the contract. They broke the contract. They reneged, and I see it no differently than 40 acres and a mule, where we were promised 40 acres and a mule and we didn't get it.
Boyd says the government settled 2 class action lawsuits. One stems from 1997.
You were supposed to receive debt relief. And if you had your farm in federal inventory, you were supposed to get your farm out of federal inventory. And the government reneged on both of those deals.
According to Boyd, the Biden administration initially promised billions in debt relief for minority farmers, but countersuits from white farmers in federal court held up those funds, but not for Walker.
The administration didn't quite deliver on their first promises, but fortunately, because I was already in foreclosure, I kind of fell in a situation where I did qualify for some money and was able to pay it out of foreclosure.
Boyd says Walker nearly fell through the cracks, but it was his drive and tenacity that kept his farm afloat, which is why his organization honored him with Black Farmer of the Year.
He's a very humble, dignified man, and my hat's off to him. And that's why we honored him this year at our conference, because of the way he carried himself and the fight that Mr. Walker had from the state of South Carolina.
From here on out, it's going to be work to continue to earn that reward, to make the farm as profitable as it can be, to make it sustainable.
But still, many other black farmers are still in high debt, and some are even facing foreclosure.